The Democratic Alliance will hold its Human Rights Day commemorative event in Claremont outside Cape Town. The federal chairperson, Helen Zille, is expected to highlight human rights violations affecting residents there in her keynote address. Newzroom Afrika's Zola Sholwana is now joining us live. Zola, it seems that it is all same old. Considering that you have a government of national unity, would have thought that perhaps maybe all the political parties that are part of the GNU will go to the official commemoration that will be taking place later on today in the Eastern Cape. But as it seems, political parties have their own programs, and the Democratic Alliance is no different.
Well, yes, indeed, Aljan, but let me correct you there. We are actually in Johannesburg, the Claremont in Johannesburg, not the one in the Western Cape. And this area has had ongoing water issues for the past decade. We know that in December they took matters to the streets, demanding that they are given a permanent solution by Joburg Water to address their ongoing water challenges. But that has not been the case. As a result, they are relying on JoJo tanks that are supplied by Joburg Water so that residents are at least able to get, a few buckets of water a day. But that's not what they want, Aljan. As people are celebrating Human Rights Day, they don't have a reason to celebrate because they don't have access to reliable water supply. But let's bring in one of the community leaders just to take us through the struggles that this area has been facing with regards to water. So thank you very much for your time. How long has this been going on for? And also, what is currently being done by authorities to address water challenges of this area?
Thank you very much, Zola, and good morning to your listeners and your viewership. This has been happening from before 2016. So I took over as councillor in 2016, and what we found in this area where we're standing right now, the old Fitas, which comprises of Jan Hofmeyer, Vrededorp and Vrede Park, had an influx of people coming in, and the water could not sustain them. So you would find that the upper levels of the government flats would run out of water early hours of the morning and then come back later on during the day. This increased during my term of office because of the number of people coming in here, and the city had no plan. So fortunately, myself and the previous ward councillor had spoken to the then DA MMC, and he put in place a budget to build what is now going to be the new Brixton Tower. But unfortunately, that's not going to resolve the issue, because even now, as you can see, some of the streets are dug up already. The infrastructure is being put in, but the problem is the commando system, where 500 megalitres of water is lost on a regular basis, and Joburg Water and province cannot account for it. And without that water coming in, these residents are still going to have that issue even if we put in the new one. Let me just also correct you. These JoJo tanks are not Joburg Waters. During COVID, we were fortunate to have donors come in and put this in right here at Riss Road. It was the first one put in, and then they put in additional ones at the old age homes. And Joburg Water does come and fill it up, so we're very fortunate for that. But there is no solution from Joburg as to what is going to happen right now. This community has gone on a number of petitions. We've taken them, I've gone with them as the councillor to province in Pretoria and to National Department in Pretoria, where we petitioned them to assist us with it. Nothing has happened 3 years down the line. We went to the Human Rights Commission to take the city of Johannesburg there. Nothing has happened. Today, on Human Rights Day, we're joining Helen Zille in Claremont here in Johannesburg, where she's highlighting the issue of the human rights issue.
You also touched on a number of old age homes here. How are they surviving, understanding that having to fetch water is probably a challenge for them?
It definitely is a big challenge, but fortunately we have some community members here who go and assist the elderly who cannot walk properly. The JoJo tanks are in there, in their villages. There are almost 251 old age units in this area. So they've got to go on a regular basis to collect water early hours of the morning, because most times Brixton Tower is closed in the evening till the morning for it to fill up. And sometimes it doesn't fill up properly because the commando system doesn't have water itself in the system. So they are struggling. So this Human Rights Day, we say, let's give back to our elderly. They deserve it. They've actually supported this country all their life. Now it's time for us to give back to them as well.
Thank you very much, Christian, for your time. That is one of the community leaders here, Aljon, essentially taking us through the challenges that they have been facing. Claremont is not the only area that has had inconsistent water supply. We know that Hurstville and Brixton, at some point, they had a march, a joint march in December, where they signed petitions hoping that something is going to be done to, address their ongoing challenge of water supply. We know that DA leader Helen Zille will be visiting Claremont, and some of the Democratic Alliance key leaders will be part of that to speak to communities also about other human rights issues that they are currently encountering in this area. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Zola Sholwana, there joining us in Claremont, the one in Johannesburg.